Hi, 6th grade. Welcome to your very short mini lecture on the geologic layers. This is chapter 10 of pages 126 to 127. Go ahead and get the slides pulled up if you have not. Let's dive right in. So you'll see on slide 3, it's titled Layers Upon Layers, and that's what the geologic layers really are. All this strata that are formed again by deposition, laying sediment everywhere, they just layer on top of each other. Some sediment will come across an area, it'll settle, it'll cement, make a layer, and over time it just happens over and over again. It's much like some sort of 7-layer cake or 7-layer dip that you make to eat. Geologists like to study these strata over large areas because they can reveal a lot of what's there, whether it's fossils or different types of rocks and minerals. These strata, so each layer, is divided into a time period of how long it's been there. And they are dated from the oldest being on the bottom to the youngest on the top. And geologists that prescribe to the theory of evolution use these time periods to tell when organisms lived on the Earth. Creation scientists do not prescribe to the same theories in how old the Earth is, but they can modify what the evolutionary scientists say and say, no, this is based on the biblical timeline. So you'll see there that the 4 eras I've put are the Precambrian being the oldest, then the Paleozoic, Mesozoic, and Cenozoic. Next to the Precambrian is the Great Flood. So in the Bible, there is the Great Flood. We know the whole story about Noah's Ark. And what creation scientists say is that the Great Flood was a catastrophic event that led to some of these strata being layered upon each other. And many organisms were trapped in the sediment. As we know, not all of them made it onto the ark, and that's where we get a lot of the fossils. So if you look at the next slide, the geologic timescale. So this is a chart or a diagram that describes the events of the Earth's history in chronological order, so from beginning to now. It has examples of different organisms that are organized into a timeline based on the layers of the Earth that they were found in. So if you can zoom in on that image there, this is a geologist's interpretation. And if you look in the Mesozoic era, that's the green, and you look at the very top one, the youngest part of the Mesozoic era, you'll see the Cretaceous period, and that is the period that the T-Rex lived in. So you can use this to find any kind of organism and see what time they lived. Lastly, we have geologic columns. The geologic column is just like a vertical slice of some strata, and you can see all the way from the oldest to the youngest. These are very rare to find because we know that the Earth shifts all the time. Some scientists are able to find it. They got lucky. That picture there is very not to scale. As we know, each layer of the Earth from the core to the mantle to the crust are differing in width, but it shows you an example of how each organism can be trapped in each layer. And I hope all that makes sense. Go ahead and read through the pages in your book just like always, and have a good day.